Well, David, having the chance to look back on Tuesday's draw, what are your final takeaways?
Watched the game again. Had more than enough chances to win the game, even though we didn't play particularly well. But we were by far the better team. And, never easy. They've not had another chance after the goal. They've had one shot from outside the area in the whole game. But we didn't do enough to win. And we've become accustomed to winning games of football, so it's a bittersweet sort of feeling. Did we do enough to win? Well, we didn't score a second goal, that's the bottom line, even though we had enough chances to do that. But it shows how far we've come, that we're disappointed at only drawing at home. And having played, suboptimally. I don't think we played poorly. The pitch doesn't allow us to play in a certain way. But we didn't do enough to win, so it shows how far we've come, really. And on another day, if we replay that game 10 times, we win it 9 and probably draw a couple, or win it 8 and draw a couple. And unfortunately for us, one of them games was a draw. We did enough to win the game, but we didn't quite put the ball in the net a second time, and that's, like I say, it was Saturday at Cheltenham. We probably deserved enough to win and didn't quite get over the line. Tuesday, for different reasons, was probably the same thing, and we didn't quite get over the line. However, we're still unbeaten, still going well. And it's another point to where, at the end of the day, before the game or after the game, we're a point better off than we were before the game. And that by that I mean, obviously the point that we accrued for ourselves, but a point closer to all our rivals. So it wasn't the worst night we've ever had.
Yeah, and another positive I think to look at is we're the third most informed side in the whole division, which is obviously, like I say, a nice position to be going into a game against the league leader.
Yeah, I think we have been on a good run. We've got to keep it going. We've got 12 games to go. And if we keep that run going for all them 12 games, well, we'll certainly be there or thereabouts. That's the aim. I spoke to the players this morning about, targets and ambitions and where we want to finish and etc. Because we just start to see it in the horizon, and there's still a long way to go. There's a third of the season, a quarter of the season, but we've got to just keep going. We've got to keep maintaining the standards that we've set ourselves in recent times, and keep winning games of football. And there's no greater test than top of the league, which is what's up next.
Yeah, and another positive I think is Rosie been involved in 6 goal contributions in the last 7 games. And he's going to be vital, isn't he, in the running as well as the rest of the side?
Yeah, it's not just about Rosie, but it's good to see your strikers scoring. We've looked a better team of late. We've created more chances. There was more than Rosie's chance on Tuesday. We created numerous chances in other positions, and we're just going to now be a bit more clinical. And if we do that, we'll score more than 1 or 2 goals, and it'll be more than just Danny Rose scoring goals as well. So it's an area that we've got to improve. And even though we're certainly the top echelons of the goal scorers in our league, it's still an area to improve. As is there's a few other bits that we've got to sort of tidy up on. But like I say, we're in decent form, and we go to another corker of a game like it was a few weeks ago against Doncaster, full of confidence, and we've got to make sure we turn up and do the travelling support proud like we did on that day.
Yeah, and one of the unfortunate points on Tuesday night was seeing Doug leave the field. I'm not sure if you have any update to offer for that.
He'll have a scan. He hasn't had it yet, so we haven't had the results back. So we'll see. Yeah, it's easy for me to speculate one way or the other. I'm no medical professional, so we might as well wait for the images to come back and have a proper assessment.
Yeah, and last time out against Walsall was an afternoon we'd like to forget, really, but I'm sure you're hopeful we can be a lot more resolute this time. Yeah,
I think there was, we certainly matched them for 65, 70 minutes, and then they made a few changes and we didn't have them. We were in the middle of, like I said before, the biggest injury crisis that I've ever had in my managerial career. And in the end, they sort of blew us away. Hopefully that won't be the case on Saturday, because we will be able to have a couple of changes or more. And And I think we're in a different mindset, in a different position, and I also think Walsall are. So we're hopeful that that's not going to repeat itself, because like I say, we matched them for a large part of the game, and well, you know, the year before we were the better team, even though that ended up in a heavy defeat. We were by far the better team for 45 minutes and should have been ahead at half time, even though we were behind. So we know we've got it in us to play well against them, but we've got to make sure it's for 90 minutes. And if we do that, then we'll, like I said before, we will give anyone a game in this league, and Walsall are no different.
Yeah, and touching on that as well, you mentioned they're in a different position now. I mean, since they've lost Nathan Lowe, they have had a bit of a wobble, haven't they? I mean, what do you expect from them?
Yeah, I saw them a couple of weeks ago, Cheltenham. Saw them last Tuesday. You know, they haven't changed too much. They're there on merit. You know, people, they're having a wobble and all that. Yeah, the recent form's not been as good because they set such a high bar previously, and they're still top of the league, and they're top of the league on merit. So, make no bones about it, this will be an extremely tough game, and it's one that we've got to be absolutely on our game for, because they're a decent team, and we've got to be able to, you know, match their physical prowess, their athletic prowess, and then bring other elements of our game to the party as well, and hopefully that'll be enough.
I think in their most recent game, their 1-1 draw against Carlisle does show sort of how almost level the playing field is in the division this year. I mean, anyone can get a result against anyone, and we're hoping for the same.
Yeah, I think, you know, if you'd have said that we'd have drawn against Carlisle and Walsall would have drawn against that we'd have drawn against Tranmere and they'd have drawn against Carlisle, probably most people wouldn't have had that on the curriculum. That shows how strong and competitive this league is, without a shadow of a doubt. So, you know, we know that anyone can beat anyone in the league, and you've got to turn up. If you turn up, you've got a chance of winning. It's as simple as that, and we've got to make sure that we go there and play well. And if we do, then we've got a great chance of winning the game.
Yeah, and lastly, we always say this week in, week out, but the away fans are always brilliant. When nearly 700 tickets, a couple of days still to go, and there's tickets available on the day. Do you have a message for the fans who we're going to need the whole time, aren't we? Yeah,
100%. You know, we saw it at Cheltenham. We saw it at Doncaster. You know, we've seen numerous times with away performances this year how vital you are. You know, and I think that the ones that have travelled regular have seen, by and large, really good away performances. There's only one or two that I can think of off the top of my head where I've gone, we've not really played well there. So you know, and they're vital. They are so important. You know, I mentioned after the game how everything was flat on Tuesday. The performance, the atmosphere, everything. When we get the away end rocking, wherever it is this week at Walsall, it doesn't half help. It helps the players enormously, you know, because they get that extra shot of adrenaline every 5 minutes because they're hearing their name or the team's name, and that is so important. It gets that little bit more out of every player, and that's important, especially when you go into the top of the table, because that's what might be needed.
Brilliant. Thank you, David.
Thank you.